Hello and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. So I was not anticipating making a video for Tuesday. I was going to do my normal Wednesday and Friday, but we have so much royal tea that is dropping today and tomorrow, which is Tuesday. The second episode of Meghan Markle's Archetype podcast is going to drop with the biggest diva, Mariah Carey. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of sound bites to dissect in that episode. But today we're going to talk about the new Coult article that was released today. So sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So today they released an article and review with Meghan Markle, or Meghan the Duchess as they're referring to, where she sat down with Alison P. Davis and gave a very long and lengthy interview for the Coult. Now, I will say the photos of Meghan are stunning. I think she looks absolutely beautiful. They are definitely cleaning up her look. She definitely has a really good stylist on board, much better than some of her previous looks. It's like they're trying to rebrand or recreate or reinvent Meghan Markle, Meghan of Monteshitshow 2.0. And they literally said in the title of the article, Meghan of Monteshitshow, she's left the firm behind. Harry's found a polo team in Santa Barbara. The kids are doing great. Now she's ready for her next act. I love the fact that they're building up Meghan Markle, turning the page, starting a new chapter in her life, far behind the walls of the palace where she was enslaved, as a prisoner and a victim of the firm, of the royal family. And Harry, he's over here playing polo. Just like he was juggling his balls outside of the window when she was doing her 40 by 40. Here comes the royal joke himself, Prince Harry, out playing polo. Like, Harry, you haven't done anything in 2.5 years, but Meghan, oh, she's left the firm behind and she's ready for the next act. Literally reminds me of Norma Desmond. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille. Like, the photograph is very dramatic. It's very art noir, very Hollywood glamour. They've really done a number on the way that they're making her look on the cover of this magazine. She's ready for her close-up, Mr. DeVille. It's Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Monteshitshow. And little Harry, he's over here juggling his balls and riding polo horses. But we're not going to talk about Harry. We're going to talk about me, Meghan. Yeah, that's literally the whole focus is on Meghan and her next chapter. And Harry, again, playing a little seat filler in his own life, a seat filler in his own marriage. This man who is the royal prince, Prince Harry, the grandson of Queen Elizabeth II, the second longest ruling monarch in history for 70 years, the future son, the son of the future King of England, is literally the side piece, the seat filler in his wife's life. He has been reduced to a sub-starring role, a co-starring role in his own marriage. Meghan is the star of the show. Do you see an article on Prince Harry, the next chapter, and what you're doing next? Nope. He's over there playing polo. And if you saw my last video where little eco-warrior lecturing Prince Harry, hypocrite Harry, took a little trip for 90 minutes to Colorado to play polo with his bestie Nacho. Nacho, his bosom buddy. Goes over there to play polo, and he arrives in the airport in his little eco-friendly car, but forgets his polo gear and has his security guards in a Range Rover go and pick up his gear. Again, these two are literally the prince and princess of privilege, but yet they're victims. Get out your hankies, because these two are still going to cry and whine about their horrible existence and horrible treatment by the royal family. But try as I might, reading this huge 4 or 5 page article, I literally still cannot understand or see the mistreatment that they supposedly received at the hands of the royals. Yep, that's right. So during this little interview that Meghan gives, I have to say the author of this article kind of gives Meghan a tiny bit of shade. She kind of slips it in, and I kind of chuckled to myself. I'll have to go and get it for you because Lord have mercy, did I have to take some notes. And I'm sure I'm going to miss a whole bunch of stuff that other people are going to bring up, and I'll be like, oh yeah. But let me tell y'all, there were some little nugget bombs that the reporter dropped in there. I was like, girl, someone threw in some shade. And I think Meghan is too dumb to see it, but she did shade Meghan a tiny bit. And I have to say I'm here for it. Now, of course, she was blowing smoke up Meghan's ass that she's wonderful and Snow White incarnate, but she did give her a little side eye. She gave her a little shade, and your girl caught some of it. I sure did, and I'm going to share it with you. But let me go back to the top of my notes. I got a ton here. So basically, I'm going to give you the cliff notes of the article to spare you. The main points of this article, again, you know how Meghan just doesn't get to the point with her word salad. The very main points that I have in this article is that Meghan dropped a bombshell. Here's the bombshell. Meghan, I'm going to do it in ASMR, because I feel it's more important if I drop a bombshell in ASMR. Meghan is going to return to Instagram. Yeah, that's literally the big news was that Meghan Markle is returning to social media. That's right, now we can actually look at her avocado toast and her warrior poses on Instagram. Yay! Cue the applause. Again, it was kind of like the big, Serena Williams, you're retiring from tennis at the age of 40? Say it ain't so. Oh my God. Meghan Markle's returning to Instagram. Now, I got to be honest with y'all, I'm a little surprised that she's taken 2.5 years to return to Instagram. You would have thought when she was driving out of the palace, she would have been like, activate Instagram, activate the TIG. I would have if it was such a horrible experience and people were telling me I couldn't have social media and I couldn't have my website. I'd be like, yo, activate on the way out the door of leaving the palace gates, okay? But little Megsy waited 2.5 years because, you know, she doesn't read social media. She doesn't read the press. You know, she just lives her best life. And nobody believes that. But, you know, this is what she likes to put out there. Now, I personally think, honestly, that she has a social media account that she just keeps private, doesn't have her name on it, doesn't have her photo, probably just her family and friends. Come on, that's what all celebrities do. I believe Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, also has a private Instagram for her family and friends, you know? Whatever. So the big takeaway was that, again, she has a social media account, or she's going to come back to social media. Of course, they haven't really announced it exactly when she's going to come to social media, if it's going to be under her name, if it's going to be under her archetype, but I'm sure it'll be another shock drop that they're going to announce Meghan Markle's back on Instagram. Now, most of this interview was kind of like the Oprah interview 2.0, and she even said to the person who was interviewing, but we've discussed all of this in the Oprah interview. Yeah, you did. And again, 90% of the article just kind of went over a lot of the stuff that Meghan went over. Now, here's the thing, is that Meghan continues this narrative of, you know, she was a victim, she was a prisoner, that she was silenced, and that she wasn't able to speak. And here's the thing that the biggest thing that Meghan Markle said that the royal family did as a mistreatment for her is, are you ready for this? She wasn't able to open her own mail. She wasn't able to keep the TIG. She had to shut down all of her social media. She wasn't able to manage her social media. She had to share photos of her children before it could be released on social media with the press, and she didn't want to do that because the press were evil and nasty to her. Again, she couldn't control the narrative, and she was extremely upset that the royal family wasn't there for her. They didn't protect her. They didn't put out all the negative stories and say she was Snow White and pooped rainbows. Again, the never complain, never explain protocol is for all royals equally. But again, Meghan felt like she was, cast upon because she was, American and biracial, and she was treated unfairly, even though all the other royal family members had to endure the exact same thing. She also talked about how they were forced to share social media accounts through Kensington Royal with the other members of the royal family, like the Cambridges. Oh my God, say it isn't so, Meghan. You had to share a public social media account with the Cambridges? Oh my God. Can you believe the mistreatment? Oh, and the taking of her passport. They took her passport. Again with the passport. Does anyone believe they took her passport? This woman did more vacations in 18 months than she did royal engagements. She literally worked 72 engagements in 18 months. That's not a lot, guys. And she had a ton of trips. Of course, I don't have the number in front of me, but she had plenty of vacations, more vacations than actual engagements, okay? And they took my passport. I had to shut down my social media, had to shut down my website. I couldn't even answer my own mail. If I wanted to post a photo of little Archie, it had to go through the press first. Yada, yada, yada. I'm such a victim. Again, opening of the mail. Okay, so here it is. It's called royal protocol, Meghan. It's called security. Do you know the people in the White House can't even open up a window? They can't even open up a window a crack to get some fresh air. They don't answer their own mail. They don't answer their own social media accounts. Supposedly, they don't have private email accounts or cell phones. All of that is confiscated because it's security. It's security. You know that thing that you and your husband keep suing for? That's called protocol. I guarantee you Kate doesn't open up her own mail. William doesn't open up his own mail because heaven forbid someone puts anthrax or something in there. They have to be safe. That's why you have a staff of people to handle that and your engagements and everything for you. Your calendar. She was upset that she couldn't open up her own mail. Literally, that's what she's upset about because Meghan is a control freak. She is a narcissist. Meghan is an A-type personality. She even said my blood's A positive because she knows she's a very A-type person. Very control-oriented, likes to control the narrative, literally has a conniption fit when she can't control things. We've all seen major examples of her being a control freak, obviously. So she's a very type A personality, control freak, narcissist, and pretty much was pissed when the royal family said, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to handle this for you for security reasons. And she didn't like that. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't like it either. I like to handle my own social media, have my own cell phone, my own email, my own mail. But I get it as being a part of a working a royal family member. You're high profile, and this is security. But again, Meghan was not happy with the fact she wasn't able to control the narrative and that the royal family wasn't there for her because they weren't, squashing all of the negative stories. So pretty much throughout the article, they were painting it as this was no fairy tale. This was, life behind the palace was horrible for them. And then, of course, they brought up a couple of things about the Oprah interview, about how Meghan tried to, quote, hurt herself and how there was a no-go at the palace. Nobody cared that the pregnant Duchess wanted to hurt herself. Well, again, that has been debunked. Nobody has any record of her going to HR seeking help, and nobody believes that a pregnant Duchess went to the HR department and tried to get help, and they're like, suck it up, buttercup, put on some lipstick and a party gown and go to the circus. We don't care that you want to hurt yourself, just put on a smile. And Harry literally said on the Oprah show that he was embarrassed, that's right, embarrassed that his wife needed help. and he didn't know what to do. He was like, "You're embarrassing me, Meghan. You're embarrassing me. Put on some lipstick and put on a party gown. I'm going to have to go call my therapist because I don't know what to do. And you're embarrassing me, Meghan." Who says that? First of all, you're like the spearhead of 4 or 5 charitable organizations dealing with mental health. Doria works in mental health, and you yourself take therapy. So Harry and Meghan felt that they were just mistreated so poorly by the people of the UK, by the press, by the firm, that they just wanted to go to a different Commonwealth country like South Africa or Canada, Australia, and they were willing to represent the crown, and they just wanted to be more free, and they wanted to do things the way that other members of the royal family were able to do things. Now, of course, they didn't list exactly what those things were in the article. And a funny part of the article was that Meghan kind of gave her side eye and was like telling the lady, "You know what I'm talking about?" And the lady was like, "No, but I'll play your game, Meghan." So basically, Meghan was alluding to the fact that the firm wasn't going to play ball with them. The firm wasn't going to let them do whatever these mythical other royals were doing. Of course, we have no idea what that was. And they weren't going to let Meghan do it because, well, she was biracial. Was that the insinuation that you were making, Megsy? Yeah, that because you were biracial, you weren't going to get to do what some of the other royals got to do. Again, makes no sense, and they didn't provide any information in the article exactly what that was that they were denied. So they pretty much just rehashed everything that was in the Oprah Winfrey interview, said that they couldn't do the same thing that the other royals could do because I guess Meghan's biracial. And then they were mad because, you know, Meghan couldn't open her mail, manage her social media, and she had to share a social media account with other royals. Heaven forbid. So that is why they opened up Sussex Royal, you guys, because Meghan had to have her own dedicated just to her and Harry. Yes, a narcissist. That's right. That's when they started splitting the brands. And so they had to do Sussex Royal instead of sharing it with, you know, the Cambridges. So that is when the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge got their own social media, and then they did the whole Sussex Royal. Again, everything is about Meghan, you know. She lied about, you know, I thought I was doing such a good job on these royal tours, and I came back and I was reprimanded and told I did everything wrong. And gosh, that would have been nice to know ahead of time how to do things. Again, you had a staff of 14 people, Meghan. So again, she kind of paints herself into this little Snow White, just plucked into obscurity in the whole world, and no one's out there to help me. Just little old Megsy. You know, she just paints herself as a victim, right? The whole thing just kind of rehashing everything. So then they get to the part of Megxit. This is my favorite part. So then they decide, because Meghan was a prisoner with no passport, remember, they decided to go to the Vancouver Islands for a 6-week vacation. Now, a 6-week vacation, that sounds pretty nice. When's the last time any of us took a 6-week vacation? I don't know, but do you need a passport to go from the UK to Canada? I don't know, but it just seemed like, oh, I'm such a prisoner, but I'm going to take a 6-week vacation, y'all. And they said it was there when they were on Vancouver Island, through the help of their rich friends and network of people, they escaped. Yeah, they escaped, y'all. Escaping the palace. Like they were prisoners, escaping in the night to Vancouver Island with our friends. And then we just decided to stay there, and we did Megxit, and we quit. And that's when Megxit was born, because we wanted our freedom. And this is where Tyler Perry came in. They never met the man, but he knew what she was going through. And he sent his private jet over to rescue her and gave her refuge and a safe haven in his mansion in Beverly Hills, okay? So that's why they ended up with Tyler Perry's house, was because the man gave it to them because they were escaping the firm. Again, I'm still not understanding quite the mistreatment. Again, everything she said has been proven a lie, but according to them, they're still victims. So that is how they came to Southern California, and they found their Montecito housing unit. Their housing unit in Montecito. They looked, they weren't sure if they could afford it because they weren't working, y'all. They didn't have any money because, you know, Daddy's money was getting cut off pretty soon. But by the grace of God, they were able to get this huge mansion in Montecito. And she said the reason why they decided on this property was because of a palm tree that was in the front yard, and it had its roots pointed together. And Harry said, look, Meghan, that's just like us. Again, with the love story, love wins. She has this whole thing about their love, and they're so in love. And the whole docu-series isn't really a reality show. It's a documentary on their love story, which basically means it's scripted by Meghan. It's a scripted fictional show directed by Meghan Markle herself. That's why it's not a reality show, because it's not an on-the-wall, let's film it as it goes. It is a scripted show by Meghan because she's a control freak. She's a narcissist. She's controlling the narrative. And like I said, this show has been filming for 2.5 freaking years. So the hilarious thing is, during this interview, the lady in the article asked, so when exactly, are we doing a reality show? Is it a docuseries? When is this thing going to come out? And Meghan was being very cagey. Well, I don't read the press, and I don't have social media, so I don't know what's out there. But, you could talk to my publicist at Netflix, and they'll tell you about it. And then the lady in the article was like, yeah, not much. I was like, whoa. And there was another part, I'll see if I can remember it, that she kind of shaded Meghan. And she said some really funny things. So they had some excerpts in there where they talked about little Archie and, Meghan's parenting style, and how she's teaching little Archie and his manners, and how Meghan learned manners a long time ago, that if someone asks for salt, you pass the salt and the pepper together. And that's just like Harry and Meghan, salt and pepper, always together. It was so cheesy, the amount of little sweetness, like the two parts of the palm tree together, and that's us. And every time little Archie walks by the tree, he goes, Mama and Papa, Mama and Papa. Okay, just like he says, Grandma Diana and alligator. Okay. Mama and Papa, right, at the palm tree, and how the salt and pepper are always together. That's like me and Harry. Peanut butter and jelly, always together, because we're a love story, y'all. It's a love story. Remember when she did the little interview for Vanity Fair? It's a love story. It's just for us. Trying to paint how much she loves her husband and how happy they are, but yet we see, pictures and lobster claw and it, whatever. If that's what you think happiness is, go for it. But I don't buy the little love story. Yeah, so the documentary, guys, it's a love story. Directed by Meghan. And edited by Meghan. So we'll just go from there. Now, another interesting part is they talked about her relationship with her father. And this was sad. She talks about her relationship with her father and the fallout with the royal family, and how Harry pretty much, she said to Harry, hey, I've lost my father. You don't have to lose yours too. And he's like, oh, already did. Again, discarding family members along the way because they're cold and they don't care. Isn't that nice? But they preach compassion. So she says it takes a lot of energy to forgive. Yes, but it takes even more energy to be bitter and hateful and resentful. So she says it takes a lot of energy to forgive, and I guess she's still not ready to forgive her father. And this is why people have a problem with you, Meghan. This is why people don't like you. They always say you can tell a lot about a person's character based on 2 things. 1, how they treat their family, and 2, how they treat staff. Well, you failed on both accounts, sister. Yep, you ain't looking too good. So look, no matter what you think about Thomas Markle, he's not a perfect man. This man treated Meghan like his princess. Her entire life, this man did everything for her. All of a sudden, she changed her opinion of her daddy when she got with Harry. I guess he wasn't good enough for her at that point. I think she was embarrassed. I think she was embarrassed that her dad was maybe not living the life that he used to live. He was living in Mexico. Maybe she was a little embarrassed by that. He wasn't the high and mighty lighting director that he once was. For whatever reason, she was embarrassed, and she wanted to do everything she could to get rid of him. She was trying to clean up that narrative, paint a new one, didn't exist before 2014, started ghosting and dumping all of her friends. right? Had all these little Hollywood friends, became friends with Serena and all those people. She wanted to be the new Meghan so she could fit into the royal circles and marry Prince Harry. And her dad was not fitting the bill. Okay, he wasn't the look she wanted. Now look, he did some things. He was with some photographers, which I personally believe he was set up. He wanted to improve his image. So he took some photographs and he was paid. So what? Who cares? Who cares? So what? You can't forgive the man 5 years later, 4 years later? You can't forgive the man who's giving you everything in your entire life, who you used to praise up until you started dating Harry 4 years ago. You literally now think he's just not even worth your time. The man almost died. He was on his deathbed and you couldn't bring yourself to drive 3 hours to see him. You couldn't decide to forgive him. You can't forgive the man for taking photos? Is it really worth it? But instead you can get on an airplane and go, look at some victims you don't have any connection to. So when you preach kindness and compassion and I'm so sweet, honey, if you ain't walking the walk and talking the talk, it's nothing to me. Charity starts at home, sweetheart. You and Harry definitely need to take a step back and take a lesson in humility. Okay, the way you treated your family on both sides because you're not getting your way and you can't do the royal family the way you want to do it because the royal family doesn't revolve around you. For two people who definitely want to distance themselves from the royals, you sure are getting your bread and butter from those titles. You sure are getting bread and butter from your connection to the queen. If you really wanted to leave the royals behind, you would have left the titles at the door in the Vancouver Islands when you were escaping the palace with your network of rich friends who were helping you get out to Tyler Perry's mansion. You would have left all that behind. But instead, you're Meghan the Duchess. You're still using the titles and monetizing. That is why people don't like you, because it's called being a hypocrite. You rag on the royal family 2.5 years after you left the firm, and you're still bitter. You're still dragging them through the mud. You're still putting out digs, etc. You're still blaming them for all of your problems. Well, let me tell you, you can't blame the royal family for your actions that you've done for the last 2.5 years. That's all you. That is all you. So all the negativity that has followed you since you left the royal family, you cannot blame the royal family for all the lies and inconsistencies and lying under oath and all your lawsuits and the comments you made about South Africa in your podcast, sweetheart. That's all you. You cannot keep blaming other people for your actions. You can't even blame your father. So this article, they are definitely working overtime at Sunshine Sachs. They're trying to brand Meghan, this new woman, this new awakening, this new act. Well, I really hope you guys will drop everything about the royal family in your new act. We don't need Megxit 10 years later. We don't need a decade of Megxit and your victimhood. It's been almost 3 years. Can we drop it? Can you let Princess Diana rest? Can you let the titles go and just go on and be Harry and Meghan? Quit monetizing off of your, quote, woke victimhood that nobody's buying. So this whole article, basically, it didn't really offer anything new, okay, just kind of rehashed her bitterness and victimhood toward the royal family and how basically she's opening an Instagram. And they talked about Archetype, her brand new podcast, and how excited she is and how she's #1 after the first episode, yawn fest. So that was pretty much the only thing I got out of this. So that's pretty much all that I have on this article. It's very, very long. If you have a chance, you can read it. I think it's offered for free for a very short time. But this is the main thing I picked up, is that Meghan Markle wanted to control the narrative. She wanted to control her life. And the royal family was like, no, we have procedures and protocols and safety rules in place. The hilarious thing is she wants to get into politics. It's going to be the same way. They're going to have security and drivers and in your mail and your social media. It's going to be the same kind of control. She's not going to have this freedom that she thinks that she's going to have. So let me know if you guys read this article, what you think about it. Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. Please be sure to check out my other social media accounts. And if you would like to become an RDT VIP Patreon member, I have a Patreon membership that is only $3 a month. There I'm going to share some personal vlogs, story times, recipes, home decor, book recommendations, etc. We're going to have a lot of fun over there, some monthly lives and giveaways. So if you want to check it out, guys, all of the information will be linked below. But stay tuned, guys. I think it's going to be a very busy week because the second episode of her podcast will be dropping. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.